Happy Easter.
We hope you enjoy the video about this project. Deb's design for live edged walnut and bird's eye maple table. A project that started before the coronavirus was even on our radar screen and took a long time to complete until this present day. Hope you enjoy the video and that you're all well. Cold but pretty day. And Deb's got a project. What is it you want?
I want a table with drawers in it, live edged at the top, for a very specific space in the dining room.
This is the first project from this walnut that my brother-in-law Dave turned me on to. It's a big old tree, half dead, that needed to come down. And we got it milled and a bunch of it stored away. I think we're going to try to make this project out of this single piece. So I've tried to draw the dimensions of the board this way. Minimum distance, including the sapwood, 15.5 inches wide. And look at the spot where it's supposed to go.
Here we are. We wanted to have room for this chair to stay here.
What do you call these things? A side table?
Sideboard.
Sideboard?
Yeah, that chair's a little big, but you like it because it's comfortable, so.
Yeah, it's from my grandpa's doctor's office, I think. Which means it's 32 inches off the floor.
Yeah, 13
to 14. So 48?
Yeah, that's good.
Got to decide which end is the live edge we're going to keep. Also which side's up and which side's down. This one's a little more angled. And this one's a little more straight up and down. Probably this is a better one to keep. The live edge thing is much more pleasant looking.
If it angles back from the top.
It needs to angle back, yeah. Something like that to that.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Yeah, I think that's good enough. I want to make sure before we commit on where to cut this thing that we've got nothing really problematic. What we're trying to do is establish what's sort of a symmetrical looking reference line to come back to what needs to be a straight cutoff. As a live edge, that'll look just fine. Next thing is how to flatten and smooth the top without being able to use my good old thickness planer because it's too wide. There's not a lot of twist to it, but there is a little right down in that corner. And you can see it's cupped here. Good enough to go ahead and move on to the legs and then the drawers. I'm aiming for 2-inch legs here. I want to get into the sapwood on these guys. Five legs, all oversized. Got a little time this weekend. We got drawers across the front, so we don't have skirt boards. In the past, I made some tables where there's just a 45-degree inside the skirt boards. You can run a lag screw and a nut, and it works really well. It just holds the legs nicely in place, easy to remove. but we don't have anything in the front like that. So what I think I'm going to do is take 1x2s, miter them together with a cross piece here to provide a little flat space. And this little corner here of this frame of 1x2 should be sufficient with a dowel on top of the legs up into the table. So an average of 17 degrees, it seems about right. Go ahead and finalize the length so we can make sure the frame's going to fit with the overhang we want. I was just averaging it along what looked like would be the visual center line, but we can work now off the back edge. 17. Got the angles cut in.
Yes, looks nice.
2.5 inch overhang on the edges, 1.5 inch front to back, 2 inch legs.
Yeah, good.
That frame will be behind the walnut strip. The side skirt boards and the fronts of the drawers will be that bird's eye maple.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe a little pressure here. All right, this is a full-size pattern for the legs. And this is that idea that I got from the cool Amish table we have for a dining room table, where it looks like a curve, but it's actually a series of straight lines. Got the pattern marked out on the two faces. Freehand down the straight bits. That's the idea. Straight face cuts there and there, and a pair of concave straight face cuts there and there, without a whole lot of special curve cutting. Beautiful little day. Make 1/2 inch dowels embedded in the top of the legs. A hole here on the tabletop. What I'm going to do is cut a piece of nail off, put a little pilot hole into the leg as close to center as I can, pick which legs go where, and then actually put them in place with that nail protruding to mark. And that should be enough to get the Forstner bit to take out our recess form. Just a tip coming out of there. I think that might work. Yeah. Has them all located pretty well on their lines. So that means I can cut the corners right to those lines, and that should give us a leveling a little bit more than needed. Yeah. Sun's out. Everything's shutting down because of coronavirus. Come out here and try to move this table project along. So the prettiest grain is on this end of the board, and we want that for the drawers. So cutting a little long, 1 drawer, 2 drawers, and the next nicest bit for the skirt boards on the sides. So that's the general idea. I am going to make the facing piece here with an angle, and then 2 separate pieces here underneath the drawers, like that. So I think I need to plan and put the pocket screw holes in this piece at least. Then I think I can glue those facings on and those facings on. Just almost touch. That is easier to do before this piece is glued on. Probably good enough. Well, that's just about every clamp I have that's big enough to do these spans. That's why all this goofy reused 2 clamps to get those. All right, get the clamps off. Start the process of basically treating these as single pieces to be cleaned up and precision cut to length. Reasonably decent finishes. Make the pocket screw holes on the insides of these guys. Those pocket screws aren't going to be easy to access once this is all together. Mount the thing in place, put the front legs on, and finally put the back on, because that would leave it all accessible. Sequence. Take the clamps off, see how this all sits. Leave a 1/4 inch gap back here. We need 1/2 inch gaps for these slides. I'll leave an 1/8 inch reveal around the drawer faces. And I think that's enough to make the parts for the drawer, sides and back, out of this. Cut notches all the way around, 1/4 inch deep. The floor long too, so it'll go into the notch along the drawer face as well. Now to make drawer bottoms out of these boat leftovers. Use freehand to get a useful straight edge. So I need a shim piece. Turns out that's 7/8 of an inch. This is a little cut off from the mast on a sailboat. All the way up, yeah, that's it. That's what we want. One side. And that's looking pretty consistently right. So we'll rip both of these down to 4 7/8, cut them to width, try to get them installed so they're exactly centered. Quadruple check. Lot of work getting to this point. I sure hope the reveal is in the good enough zone here. What do you think?
I love it.
Getting close. Just got to figure out how to get the legs and all that stuff fastened down straight and strong. Look at that bird's eye.
It's beautiful. I'm wondering about maybe some long walnut handles.
How's it going?
All right.
I'm glad you're trying to rescue that thing.
Yeah.
Still not quite sure how to do this, so I think I just need to go. I just need to try to screw this thing on and try to fasten the legs in. And the problem is these pocket screws are blocked by the shims for the drawer. So I need to cut channels to allow access to those somehow. I think that'll do it. this is right. And then sequence-wise, pocket screws into the legs. Happy with that. Put these guys in, then put the back in place, and then put those in. Quite the puzzle. Those two leg fastenings. Hey Deb.
Yes?
Come here. Did I screw it up or not? Look.
Oh my goodness! Betha, you have to see. Look how beautiful. That is really beautiful, you.
We were hoping it would be.
Did you see the bird's eye maple?
Yeah, I think those legs are in the good enough zone. All right, before moving on to finish, need to make the knobs. This is Deb's design. Tucked in around all four faces. Wood screws, I think, is what I'm going to do in from the back of the drawer. 4.5 by 3/4 by 1 inch. Yeah. Not too bad. And better than trying to push that all the way through there with my fingers in the way. It's weekend. Birds sound happy. I think what I'm going to do is try to run a cut on the table saw straight in, leaving this 1/2 inch. Don't mind telling you, it makes me a little nervous. But I had my finger up on the fence, so if worst case happened and that kicked out, my hand downward pressure is caught on the fence. Alright, so what I've done is drawn a little 1/4 inch line around the top faces of these guys. What I want to do is cut off and then use that line to try to make a curved removal. Well, that's pretty close. I'm pretty happy with those so far. Figure out how to just sort of round at least that corner a bit.
Oh, yeah. I think that they're good as is. I want it to really be,
Kind of angular. And
yeah, I want it to be angular. I want it to be, to have the same type of thing that you see in the rest of the piece. So, yeah, these are great.
it's tricky, for me anyway. To Debbie, Rudy, love. Was it 27 or 28?
28.
Here we go, first finish. Still liking how this is looking. I think what I'm going to do next is make the holes and countersinks for the screws that hold the knobs on. Probably just one more, light sand and one more coat. That'll look nice. Countersink in there.